Hello, I'm Dr. Terry Susan Fine, Content Specialist for the Florida Joint Center for Citizenship, which is part of the School of Politics, Security, and International Affairs at the University of Central Florida in Orlando. Welcome to our Middle School Civics Highlight Series. Today we're going to be focusing on Benchmark 1.6, in which we will analyze the ideas and grievances set forth in the Declaration of Independence. In Part 1, we focus on the unalienable rights expressed in the preamble of the Declaration of Independence. So first we're going to be identifying the unalienable rights specifically expressed in the preamble of the Declaration of Independence. These unalienable rights include life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. After that, we will explain the concept of natural rights as expressed in the Declaration of Independence. So here are our same highlights. What are the rights and how is natural rights expressed in the Declaration of Independence? So first we'll look at the concept of an unalienable right. This is a right that is given by God. This is a right that is given by God where because a person is born, these rights cannot be taken away. That's what makes them unalienable. These rights include life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So for the government to protect someone's life, that means that that government has an obligation to protect life because everyone who is born has unalienable rights. A contemporary example of the government protecting life is when the Food and Drug Administration tests medicines and food to make sure that they are safe. So imagine, if you will, if you went to the grocery store and you bought some cough medicine, maybe you're not feeling too well, you bought some cough medicine, and the cough medicine included gasoline in it. In other words, there were no standards or testing requirements or manufacturing requirements for that medicine, and consequently, the person who took the medicine ended up worse off than they were without the medicine. And that's what the Food and Drug Administration does. Let's look at liberty. Government is obligated to protect liberty and freedom. So an example of this is the freedom of the press. The freedom of the press is protected in the First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, which is in the Bill of Rights. And so the freedom of the press to publish information about government is protected by the U.S. Constitution. We all know sometimes that we might look at things that people in government are doing, and we might know in our heart of hearts that what people are doing might be wrong or might not be in the best interest of the public. And even though we don't want to hold negative viewpoints about our government, the transparency is important, the ability to see what the government is doing. And one of the ways that we can see what the government is doing is because government has an obligation to protect liberty and freedom, even if the government is protecting the liberty and freedom of the press, which may turn around and criticize the government. Then we have the pursuit of happiness. When we're focusing on the pursuit of happiness, we know that government is obligated to protect individual rights to pursue what makes them fulfilled. These pursuits may include property, employment, or education. So when we say that government is obligated to protect our pursuit of happiness, what this means is that if we are being held back from pursuing our happiness in ways that do not serve the public interest, right? We know that there are going to be times when the government does withhold freedom, for example, for the sake of the public safety. But at the same time, what if there is no benefit of denying somebody their right to purchasing property, their right to employment or their right to education as some ways that people pursue happiness. There are state and federal laws in place that protect individuals from employment discrimination. And what that means is that someone, because of a characteristic that they have that is unrelated to the job, if they are denied a job, then the corporation or the company that's doing the hiring, if they are guilty of discrimination, then they could be sued because they have violated civil rights laws. How is the concept of natural rights expressed in the Declaration of Independence? Well, we find that in the very first paragraph of the Declaration of Independence, it says, "We," meaning the authors, "we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." Now, that is where we see the concept of natural rights. Why? Because the way that sentence is structured, it says, all men are created equal. Created, by being created, that means that we are endowed by our Creator. Because we are born, we have certain rights. That's the concept of natural rights. But what are those natural rights? Here's where the writers of the Declaration say, among these unalienable rights are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So first it's, because we exist as people, we are endowed, we are given rights because we are born. What are those rights? Those rights are listed as life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Thank you so much for joining me for Middle School Civics Highlights. Do you still have questions? Please contact us using the information that appears on the screen. Till next time, I'm Dr. Terry Susan Fine. Thank you for joining me.